Did we, are we on audio? Did you hear her say it?
Should be. Was.
Is it working?
Yeah, Bluetooth speaker. With mic.
Oh, it's disconnected, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yes. We have one guess. Okay, so we have an audience of citizens and Officer Blakey is here for other reasons than that. So, we have any one guest that we have on Zoom? It's not for
There's two guests. So.
Two guests, that's all.
Two guests. Okay, I don't hear anybody responding to the audience of citizens. We have to do approval of the minutes. Have the commissioners had a chance to look at the approval of the minutes? We have October's and November's minutes to approve it.
Okay, I actually had a couple of things.
Please,
Page
go ahead.
2, first line. Is trained to read docs, so it should be redact. First line of page 2. And then under the chief's report, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line, second word, my name is misspelled. That should wrap it up for me.
I could just call you Alex.
Yeah, just call me Alex.
But, you know,
Okay, so so we have, that takes care of the October.
Yeah.
Minutes. So far, we need a motion to approve them. Second.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All right, so moving on. We have the minutes of November. We have corrections. I believe, on the second page. There was, it says, Commissioner Alex Young made the motion for the fee schedule change. Was that Commissioner Zara who did that? Or is that you? Weren't you on, Zoom?
Yes, it was him.
It was him. I don't know. Another.
page 2.
Yeah, each two, so you have Commissioner Zara. It's right here. Which one do you want? Right here, it says fee schedules. That was the. Right.
What's that?
And then that's the one that has the question that deputy chief.
Yeah, that was on the third. You, and the only other thing was on review of reports, it said, and that would be on the second page, Lieutenant Martin would give the report, he addressed the officers that were killed on sanitation fire. There was one firefighter. That would be in the reports right here. Yeah. Right. So there's one firefighter.
Change your officer to fire.
There's a single.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay, so we're all set with the approval of the minutes for both October and November.
Yeah, take a vote on
November,
it.
you gotta do a-
I'd make a motion, please, the first and the second for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Second, thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
Now, do we have any correspondence? Chief?
No, there's no correspondence.
Okay, so at this point, we'll be interested in going into executive session. I'll need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion. Commissioner Alex.
Second, Paul, that's it. And I'm okay, we're going to invite in, Mayor Alec and the chief and Lieutenant Martin and Officer Mary Claffey. And everybody else, the Joan and John.
So you gotta go.
When they come out, we come back.
Comment.
You should have been here earlier.
I know, I just got out of the housing meeting. I'm on housing.
I'm sorry.
I just want to say one thing. We have defest police department.
That's very nice. Thank you, John.
Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for your service. Excellent.
Thanks.
Thanks, good night.
Yeah, that's,
You can do that.
Yeah, good. Oops. Okay, so you let it, yeah, so on the way out. Yeah,
I've never been there,
no, never.
never been there.
It's kind of fun.
Really? Yeah.
Okay, and then was back at ATM. Boy, that was a long one, guys. Who came out of executive? No, that's all right.
There was a lot.
That's okay. Don't apologize. Who had the motion to come out of
Commissioner
executive?
Melissa made the motion,
Melissa,
and I believe
not Rhoda.
Paul seconded it. We're using first names out. And Commissioner Alex. Second.
I'm not even fucking shot, huh? It feels like you messed up with Mike
Was there any
first.
decisions?
Yes, we decided to give the chief and the deputy chief 4% raise. Brings you up to just above the median price of everybody else on
Thank you.
the arithmetic.
Could be at the meeting.
And that was all
Sorry?
were in favor?
Yes,
Okay. Did somebody make a motion on that one?
I think it was Alex and Paul.
Yeah, I believe I made the motion.
Alex?
Seconded.
All good?
I
All right.
think so. Okay.
All right, so we're moving on to Chief's monthly report. Chief, would you like to comment on that?
I hear the mayor's stomach is growling. So, this month, we posted a position for, I named it a CAT officer, which is really community accreditation and training all combined. You know how we had a training officer and we had community officers and everything. So I've got 3 people that applied for that position. I talked a little bit about that position in the report, and they're doing interviews. If it's not Friday, I think they're Monday. And then we'll make a decision on the first CAT officer.
So that position isn't in existence right now?
No.
And who's the work being done by right
Nobody. LeGue is the training officer.
now?
And
He's leaving.
he's gone, for all intents and purposes, he's gone. Accreditation is being done by Sergeant Haas. And the community engagement part has kind of fallen by the wayside because Kathy Griffin used to be the big community officer. She made sergeant over a year ago. And then LeGue was picking up some of the community stuff too, so that's gone. And we pulled people, if you remember back in August, we pulled inside people out from their jobs to get them on the road to reduce the order in and to reduce the overtime and also to hit more traffic enforcement, which is what we've been doing. But now we just got 3 out of the academy on FTO. So we're starting to make some of those. We need to get a training officer back because we're falling behind on all our training. And then just to give the position, training accreditation should be combined anyways, and then the community involvement. We have somebody in mind, so, who can handle all 3. I had 3 people put in for it, but one of them, the position's, kind of designed for. But the idea is that position's supposed to be the seed to invigorate our support services division. I want it to be more community focused. Not just like when you look at the monthly reports, it's, they do certain things and they don't deviate. We need them to be more
Flexible.
flexible, yeah. Yeah, that's a polite word.
So what's the situation with the detective positions?
We posted for 2 detective spots. I have 3 applicants for that too, and we're doing interviews for them also in the next week.
So we're in a deficit at the moment.
We've been at a deficit, yeah. We have one, our youth bureau, our youth detective is our actual.
What's the youths? What's the youth?
Youth. Our youth detective is handling major crime stuff too. And then you have our full detective is out on a
Medical.
medical leave, so he's out. So Chafee, the youth detective who puts his report in here, is handling all the major cases too. So they need somebody in there, and we have one officer that we have on the task force. So we're
Which
trying
is
to.
An asset to us.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We're talking about a second task force, and I was gonna talk to the mayor about this offline, because he's got friends in the DEA. So
Right.
we need to generate some,
Money.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, we're getting it from the FBI one. We're
You know
gonna, we
how
got,
much money you guys would have had and you moved back to town and was the head of the Hartford office. I offered that to you guys. You guys would have had so much damn money to spend, you wouldn't know what to do with it all. I
we're there
can't
now.
believe no chief would ever do it. I tried.
I don't understand why.
I
I'm big
don't
on
either.
task forces.
I know.
We had to wait till we could get somebody so we can put one in, and now I got one. I wanna get a second
Yeah, I
one.
mean, I know you gotta look at the power, but I mean, the money, I can't just know what we see in Hartford.
And they're always
Well, we
asking for
can-
help.
Yeah.
Always.
Huh?
So we can't go backwards, we can look forwards, we're smarter
Yeah,
now from
I
what we've
just
learned.
Think of the money,
Yeah,
millions.
yeah. So, and the other thing I put in my report, which was a big deal, I think it might have been a big deal for me. Vinyl Tech's Criminal Justice and Protective Services Program. I reported on this because they just opened. They had an emergency operations center working in there with just students, and they got Vinyl's over in Middletown, right on the Meriden
Oh, yeah,
border. Right,
I
if
thought
you go
it
straight
was
down, we're right
Meriden,
there. Yeah. And we've been pretty actively involved with this whole criminal justice protective services program because it's like a feeder program that we're trying to recruit from. They get out of high school, some of them go to college, some of them go in the military, but we're involved. And when they got this, they got an opportunity to have their EOC go worldwide, which with a huge donation. And I put the pictures in here because you'll see that the Berlin patch is in there with the supporting agencies, state police, several federal agencies, Post, the police academy, and we're part of that. We're very active and instrumental in that, and I think that's a real cap in the feather to this town, and especially because it didn't cost us a dime. We're providing training and stuff with some of our personnel, and then in return, we're going to be this EOC is 24/7, 365 students, Christmas, holidays, summers, and it's phenomenal. I've been in a few EOCs. I'm going to tell you, I think this one is actually a little bit better than what they have in the Hartford right now, technology wise, and they got it all on donations and everything. So I wanted to make sure that we get the word out that we're part of this little group of people that have access. Plus, they're feeding us real time intelligence all over.
Dumb question. Why do we have to meet with the town's insurer travelers company?
They switch insurance companies. We went from Kermit to Travelers. So Travelers sent a risk manager from Massachusetts and a local representative. And they wanted to know everything from our policies, our accreditation. They did a tour. They looked at our equipment. They're writing up the risk management thing.
So that comes out of our yearly budget, that insurance.
No, that's the
premium?
town's insurance.
The town's insurance.
Yeah, but we're part of the town, so they want to know.
No, I understand.
I met our representative was great, and the woman that came from Massachusetts, she got a little bit educated because she didn't know that Connecticut has some, she didn't know about police accountability. She didn't know that we have restrictions on police pursuits
Seriously?
and our use of force policies and all. Well, Massachusetts criminal justice policing, Massachusetts is a little screwed up right now. They got a lot of things going on. So she's from there, and she's like, well, she asked me a million questions about academies and training. I mean, there was a lot there. She spent some time here.
Wonderful.
I think
Okay,
Mass
so
would have their crap together, no?
No, that superintendent had the prostitute. and all
Oh,
that
that's
stuff.
right.
Yeah, they're all in trouble.
we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. Police
strike that.
renovation
Yeah.
project update.
They're still working on it. We still don't have the bathroom in the front, which is costing us because we have to have 2 dispatchers. I don't know what the slowdown is. I mean, I sit in the meetings and
I was curious with that, it's not.
Bless you.
So it's not all done.
No, the bathroom's not ready to go in there. They were working on it all today, yesterday. They were doing some floor work.
The rest of it done? No.
No.
It's got a door.
Well, they
It's
got,
done by.
they got an extension into January for the project.
Yeah, right.
I think they're gonna make their January date now, I think.
Good.
It's near the end of the month.
Or whatever it's coming.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna double back on one quick question. Do we have an agreement with Madabassett for fees and agreement with all the different departments for the, before I forget, I'm throwing it out there right now.
No, but I sent you an email today
Up today.
and
Well, it's funny you
He's
should
on
say
it.
that, and I honestly, I just was looking at my own emails, not the town, and Jeff usually sends them to both, and he just said, please see attached draft MOU arrangement.
Yeah,
Remember,
so-
we finally got that done.
So-
he was waiting for some stuff and he's gonna combine it. I sent him an email and I sent the two of you separate.
Oh, yeah, and I
email.
see yours, Matt,
Yeah.
down the bottom.
Yeah, so we're
okay.
trying to get it all straightened out
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we can, because all these agencies that we're gonna have to pay are
Yeah.
doing their budgets and they wanna know.
Gotcha.
So,
So we got it this in time. Yes, that's good.
well, you got a response from Jeff? I didn't look at my phone yet.
How much is it?
He just sent it to me to look at the draft.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're waiting
You
on.
send it, right, you sent it to Jeff, you just CC'd me, yeah.
Maybe the draft he sent you is,
It's probably,
it might be the final.
yeah,
Yeah.
it probably is, I guess.
So that's-
That's good. All right.
So moving on, that's the biggest update on the renovation is that bathroom. It's fine.
Well, and downstairs, they're still, doing work. They're pulling lines and hooking up the computers and stuff like that, but they broke through the wall last week. We got, so the hallway exists. It's not finished, but it exists to get to the other side now.
All right, so we're to the investigation division. That's number 5, and that would be Lieutenant Solik and Youth Officer Report from Detective Chake. Any questions, sir?
No, sir.
Yeah, he
Okay.
said he sent it to you, Mark. He combined the two things I sent him, so.
So on page 2, I see the flock LPRs are being budgeted for approval from the budget 25-26 budget. Year 25-26. Now, what kind of surplus have we run into at the end of the year that we have to sometimes return to the town and just having Delaney distribute? Is it enough to cover the flock camera system? We have that kind of money in our budget.
Don't we always run on a budget surplus?
Well, we have been, but I'm trying to understand your question.
What I'm
You
trying
wanna
to
know
say is
what
can
we give back every year and can this come from that?
Can we absorb it into our budget, the cost of the flock camera system, or do we have to go to town council?
Delaney was working on that. I don't know that direct answer because we were also looking at an outside funding source for a grant.
So when I talked to him about this other issue,
Yeah.
could I
Oh,
ask
I
him
like the
about
grant.
that?
That's a good.
Could I ask him about that?
Yeah, you could ask him.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So,
If not, we already told Flock that it wasn't gonna happen in this current budget cycle, so it would have to be in the future. That's why we put it in the budget.
So this 10-year
Request.
capital request
All right, that's fine.
is just a draft?
Oh, what I gave you is the draft of our budget that we talked about, that everything's done except now we're gonna add the chief and the deputy chief amounts
Right.
to go to,
Oh, no, I meant this capital request for
For
block
block,
cameras. So this is just,
that's our request.
that's the request,
Yeah.
okay.
But what grant are you looking at?
Yeah.
Because if you have a grant, then
We don't need this. Or is the 51,000 that we're asking for out of the 10-year capital request?
we may
Is-
have to amend that if we're. applying.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
might have to amend it.
Okay,
And the grant that we were giving this to is, through Donna Beach, so I'm not even sure where she was looking for big ticket items from us. And that was what we sent her. But I'm not sure if that's gonna come
A
from the
grant
state,
then,
yeah.
okay, so it's a state grant, not like a
not local, no,
non-profit that we have to do all that.
no,
research.
no,
Okay,
nothing like
because
that.
I was gonna say that's,
Would you mind maybe just following up
Because that would have impacted where we have to try to find the money for it.
Yeah, well, I think the reason why we did that was for next year. To put it in the budget for next year,
Next
but
budget.
yeah, we're,
Okay, yeah, because that's fiscal year 26.
Yeah, but if there's a grant, then
well, then I think
Well-
what Delaney told us is we would just withdraw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he told us to submit that this year for the 26 budget when we were talking about it.
Well, it's better to have it, I guess, and withdraw it than to
Yeah.
not have it at all. In
Yeah,
case- just in
'cause we
case
couldn't go
not-
back.
But she's looking for money for legislative session.
That's what she's,
Get some
yeah,
grants out of this,
Mhm.
which start soon, right? So
Yeah.
February, whatever.
I know it's a big push right for technological advancements. So-
yeah, and
So
she
maybe-
called me like a week and a half ago. And said, hey, can you give me a big ticket item? And I said, oh, I got something perfect, and that's what we sent her.
That's
So-
great.
And that 51,000 is for all the setup and cameras and the
Yeah,
whole
they maintain
initiation
it,
costs,
everything.
and then we would maintain it in our budget for.
Yeah, there's a
I would say it was
36
at
grand a
34,
year,
36 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they replace the cameras and everything.
everything. If there's a problem, they take care of it, yeah.
The other two budget issues, I guess, I was throw it out there, is getting extra help in dispatch.
That's not in this year's proposal.
And then an assistant.
The assistant, we put in the budget request that you have.
Yeah.
But I haven't met the new town manager, but the outgoing guy said he didn't think that was gonna make it through the initial session, so.
What kind of money were we needing for that?
Well, we were looking for like a halftime pay thing, but what he gave me a job description. Lee Palmer gave me a job description for a paralegal at $34 an hour, which was easily $8 an hour more than what we were looking for on a part-timer. We were hoping to get like a retired police officer or somebody who could come in and help do the redactions and, you know, because the FOI number is just exponentially growing. You'll see that in your FOI report this week.
Compared to the flock camera, what kind of money would that be a year? 30, 40? Something like that.
Well, we were looking for per diem, so we weren't really sure. I mean, even if you said every week, probably about 40 grand, 40 or 50.
So I guess something.
Right, and all that work is being done by the LT right now?
Yeah,
And how about like, is there any administrative staff? Like civilians that can help?
well, we have our two women in records and you get assisted sometimes by IT or no? No,
Not for
Yeah.
reject.
no.
Is there, what about like secretaries? Are there secretaries? that can
Well,
help?
they're clerk typists, whatever their classification is, the records win, and then my secretary, executive assistant, she doesn't do much, just maybe she gets the FOIs, does the report, logs in who's gonna get what, and
Can she
kinda-
help out with that, help the LT in the meantime, if she's busy? No,
I don't think I should answer that without being in executive session.
got it. I'm just, okay.
Yeah.
No, no, you covered it.
All right, juvenile, moving on to number 6, it is the youth officer report by Detective Chafee. Any questions there? I mean, there's, you know, executive juveniles knocking down on residents' doors. Parties going on while the parents there. Looks like somebody took their parents' car and went for a 2-3 day joyride with his friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
That was bold. Right?
Not in
No, not
Connecticut.
if you need this kid.
That would never happen.
I'll read it for you. It's kind of interesting. The public might be interested in hearing. 15-year-old male was reported missing by his mother.
It's a juvenile though. Should we read it into the public record?
No,
No name.
well, they did take it for a ride.
A teenager. That's like.
Yep.
Hey,
Did you do a JRB this month?
I did 2 JRBs.
where'd they go? Where'd they go?
All over the state.
All of them say.
Mhm.
Apparently, there's issues at the picture show.
Yeah,
Just straighten that up.
Kids?
yeah.
Yeah, they're just dudes.
They don't have a prefrontal cortex yet. They truly don't know what they do.
There you go.
All right, so we're moving on to Sports Services Division. Lieutenant Jobs, you are present, so would you like to
No.
comment?
That's
Oh,
Martin.
that's-
Job's not present.
Jobs is not here. So what we have is, do you have any questions? Page 1, the light duty officer Kennedy, how long do you expect?
She's already back on the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how many light duties do we have right now?
Nobody.
Nobody. No. So we're down to 40. Full duty, because 3 are,
Yeah, 3 are in training.
and then 1 is, leaving, right? With the-
Well, yeah, he's just burning off his time.
So we're technically counting them, but it doesn't count, so we're down to 40.
Well, no, 39 because McMahon is not here. Oh, we're at this too. That brings us to 38.
And losing
Yeah.
Magoo, that would be
And-
37.
No,
No, I
Oh, that
counting
is
Magoo.
38.
you're gonna lose Williams in January.
Where's the?
He had some kind of bicep injury, ripped his
really?
bicep off his bone or something.
Related.
It's not work related, but
Really?
he's in a brace, got a bionic arm or something.
What's the thing out of league, right? You talk out of league.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's still not never gonna be.
I just saw him.
Until today.
He's
Huh?
still limping. Yeah, he's in
Really?
bad shape. Yeah, his leg,
Really?
yeah, never came back like they told him it was going to. Yeah,
It's too bad.
yeah, because he was an active guy.
Yes, exactly. It was a great shape.
Yeah, in a large injury, there's a time limit as to how long.
Yeah, no, that's sad though. No, right.
Riding the bike.
Okay, and it looks like, the only other thing is on page 7 of that report, we have a lot of late fees here. That go out there, $69,175.80. Waived out of our budget.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's high.
Yeah.
At one particular place, it's really high. We appreciate that. Maybe with some folks, I don't know. I mean, we've been looking at, we've been looking at the fees, we've been waiving, some are good to do, but it's getting expensive.
Would town council be open to kind of like if there was some kind of cap that you guys could waive out of our budget? Without kind of discussing, I guess, because it's coming out of it's coming out of
Yeah,
Steve's
yeah.
budget, and I
No,
think.
I'm- yeah. We've
That's
talked-
hard.
We've been talking about that.
Thank you. Can we go backwards a little bit to the cars?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a question about the cars. How many take-home cars are there? There's you and the deputy chief.
There's 5. There's 5 official take-home cars.
You and the
There's
deputy
3
chief?
lieutenants, the deputy chief and I.
Okay. And then how many unofficial take-home cars are there?
Canines.
Oh, the
Oh, and the
canines, I've got
canines.
canines, so that's 7.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right, 7. I forgot about that.
But they need to.
Is there policy around take-home cars, mileage, radius, gas, anything like that?
Is there
Is there any
policy?
policy? Like, what is the,
Well, our fleet is really managed by the garage, not by us.
Jim Sullivan.
Yeah. He rules with an iron fist, so he has a whole computerized program and everything, tracks it all. So they tell us what car's gotta go where, and when we have a car down or something,
Okay.
it gets serviced and everything. He does all that. We don't have a fleet manager.
and there's,
Canines have no use. Or
say again?
the canine officers don't have any use of the vehicle other than to and from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they only go to and from the house.
And then everybody else is to from
Yeah, or,
as needed, 2-hour response time kind of,
yeah,
I do.
whatever.
okay. And then this detectives and
They, on weekends on call, they'll take a car
on weekends on call.
when they're on call, but we don't have, they're phantoms right now, so we only have 1 detective. So,
So basically, the deputy chief and lieutenants are basically on call.
oh yeah, we're all in at different hours and everything.
All right, let's move on to,
Did that answer your question though?
support services. Got that?
More or
We're all set. Patrol operations, that would be this Lieutenant Mark. Would you like to comment, Lieutenant?
There's a case of note that you have in your report there. I will say we had 6 DUI, self-initiated DUI arrests this month by our officers. couple other cases here where officers did a really good job following up on stuff that resulted in arrests for things that they weren't dispatched on. Motel checks that resulted in arrests of people staying in motels who were wanted.
That's the turnpike been on mobile all day. So, not normal, nothing, trade, nothing. Been normal, so.
Just the usual.
The usual.
Then the MV stop analysis, like I told you last month, it was gonna be a little lighter this month because of how busy we've been. We did a fairly good job. It wasn't as fewer as I expected. And then attached is obviously the range calendar. There's not a lot of activity on the range right now. Calls for service, logs, and the budget. The overtime budget for the month, which is down from the previous month. And that still does include the dispatch, the extra person that we're paying at dispatch. So I don't know the exact figure on that because it's all rolled into the one overtime budget there, but it was probably between $10,000 and $15,000. We were at 20,000 a month.
I think we're close to 40,000 on that total. Right now.
Because of the bathrooms.
Bath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have to have two people in there because they don't have anywhere to go to the bathroom.
right, once that bathroom is done.
It'll drop down.
Right.
LT, can I pick your brain on a few
Yep,
things?
absolutely.
So there's a burglary on Still Meadow. I can jog your memory. It happened, if you don't know, it happened around 6 PM. It was maybe a couple weeks ago.
It's a sliding glass door one.
Yeah, it's flag glass. It's particularly unusual because it happened at 6 o'clock in the evening, right? So that kind of raises flags. But a lot of the neighbors in that area are all kind of hoping for an increased patrol presence, just drive by with the cruise lights on, just to make them feel more secure, because that's probably the second or third incident that's happened already in the neighborhood. Another one being,
There were a couple suspicious vehicle reports too that we had. So I did put something out to the sergeants to have their officers do some directed patrols through the
Yeah.
neighborhood with the cruise lights on so people could see them. You know, they're out there. You know, sometimes people don't see them.
and being mindful that we're in public session here and it's an active and ongoing investigation, are there any updates that you can publicly disclose on the case, or any
That
leads?
case went to the bureau. So it would be a detective bureau case. So I don't have any update
Okay,
on
that's
that
right.
investigation. That would come out of investigations.
Oh, got
I
it.
did speak to a gentleman from that neighborhood in person 2 weeks ago. I'm drawing a blank on his name. He had asked for more increase.
Yeah, you sent me that
patrols. I
email.
sent that to you.
Yeah,
Do you remember that guy's name?
Bald?
Was it?
Is he bald?
No. no.
He wasn't Still Metal. He was down.
He was
the end,
the end of,
cul-de-sacs.
yeah.
Park Ridge.
Well, Park
Park Ridge Lane.
Yeah, it was from Park
Yeah.
Ridge.
All right, so, maybe if you can just.
well, he was gonna start doing a neighborhood patrol on his own. I had to tell him, don't do that.
Yeah,
But we had a great conversation. I mean, he's like, do you want us to go out and walk around at 8 o'clock at night with flashlights and all? And I said, well, that's why we need that community part of the CAT team position to go and start looking at things like neighborhood watch again and all.
if you wouldn't
haven't
mind
had.
just getting me an update to what you can and are comfortable with.
Yeah. I get it to you.
Yeah, so there's that, and then, I noticed the expended budget for the month of 16 grand for sick time overtime. Any increase in sick time, or? is
No,
that-
we have a sergeant out with that arm surgery for
Yeah,
the
so
bicep.
Isn't that wreck?
So that's 3 overtime shifts a week just to cover his. It's a non-work injury, but
Got it.
he
So
had
that's-
surgery and he's out,
Yeah.
still all casted up.
The bicep was like.
Total.
rolled off.
Tore a bicep. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bicep or tricep?
that was
No,
his
it's
bicep.
biceps.
And then, just lastly, to your point, I noticed it, I'm glad you brought it up before I mentioned it, the activity is a little low for.
From what it had been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for a significant sum, I mean, 2-3 traffic stops for the whole month. But I also know November was that the month that fires were happening. and stuff like that.
fires, and we had the
Yeah.
fatal.
Okay, thank you.
Just have one curiosity question on the domestic violence review. There's a chart there that below. So it's town and Berlin and it's for reality.
Lethality screen, yes.
High danger. What is all of that? mean?
The lethality screen is a statewide program where we ask a specific questionnaire to victims of domestic violence to gauge the level of danger that they may or may not be in a household. And based on their answers, we gear services referrals. So it's a required questionnaire that we ask of all victims of domestic
Okay, so we had 4 in Berlin then.
Yeah.
violence. All right.
You nailed it. I mean, I don't know what you're.
Lap screen.
Then
Better get it right.
you have high danger, non-high danger, refuse to answer, and spoke the word. That's all I have.
The car stuff is quite, I don't like it. Quite. Right.
It's been consistent.
Not as much that, right? I don't see the-
Our brakes.
The brakes or theft, which one you want? The thefts,
Thefts from vehicle were
Down.
down to 2.9 the previous month.
Oh, okay.
So those are vehicle break-ins.
Yeah, breaking. That's.
Motor vehicle thefts were down 4 from the previous month, down from 6 down to 2. So car thefts were down last month and car breaks were down.
Yeah,
It's getting colder, the kids are back at school.
yeah, I was gonna say, probably. Back, yeah, that's okay. Nothing's good, but that's certainly not what it.
Certainly not well. If you look at
Yeah.
year over year,
Yeah,
thefts from vehicle are down 74% as compared to the same period last year.
yeah. Okay.
And motor vehicle thefts are down only 4%.
Okay. Yeah,
So we're moving on to the training department for administration / operations / training reports through Gallup. It's pretty straightforward here. There's only Evan Say, Clark, and Bennett in training courses from looks like they're done. It's obviously already December.
Yeah.
They did this in November, correct?
yeah,
Right, and then we move on to the budget's on the next page, and I just looked at the numbers here. Looks like our adopted budget is $650,000 for overtime. And that's what I'm addressing, and it looks like we've used $294,365.96, which averages about $58,873.19 a month. And it leaves us a balance of $355,634.05. Divided by 7 months left in the fiscal year leaves us about $50,804 for the next 7 months. Leaves us short roughly $56,478 for the year, which doesn't seem overly alarming. I mean, that's less than our waived fees, but just throwing it out there if anybody's interested in commenting.
well, if you're using just averages, I mean,
I am.
you know,
I just looked at the first 5 months. and that's what-
we were doing really good on that back in August, and then the fire came and that kind of ate up a lot of our overtime, and then
Fire
the
and the dispatch.
the dispatchers.
Did you get anything back from FEMA?
It's all the paperwork's done, but you're gonna see it in a couple of
About
years.
$18,000 in overtime money. I did all the FEMA paperwork, and got it up to May,
Yeah.
who's
Oh,
handling
yeah, I
it.
think I saw it on
Yeah.
the council. That's a good improvement. You have
Yeah.
15 grand?
Well, that was just us.
Just
Yeah.
you, yeah, just you guys. Yeah.
It's 18 to change. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw, okay. So you can get that back at some point, whenever.
Mhm.
I'm sure it's not
Mhm.
bad.
I don't think it'll be this year.
No, I'm sure it won't be.
The grant overtime money of $50,000, we only get it if we can actually use it. Is that how that works?
Yeah, we have
So
to
if
have,
we don't have personnel, we don't get it.
right, and we haven't been doing like the distracted driving grants and all, because we just don't have the people to dedicate to it. Like even if, we'll get the grant because they like giving us money, but then you gotta have people out there to actually do the job. We don't have the people that are doing the job. So,
Will you lose, you get it, or will you lose it? I
You
mean,
lose
do
it.
you have it in your account?
No, no.
You just get it when you.
You get it when you submit
Well,
it.
They work off the.
yeah,
We haven't applied for it because of staffing.
yeah,
Yeah, you have it.
because if you apply for it, then you gotta do it.
Yeah.
All right,
You don't
and
have
then,
to get-
last but not least is the freedom of information. Anybody have any questions on that? It's pretty lengthy. I'm sure that Martin's up to his eyeballs and dealing with that stuff. With redactions.
They get it when they get it.
What's that?
I said, they'll get it when they get it. I can only do what I can do. So
I know.
Yeah.
I've been wrapped up in the building renovation for the whole week, really.
You see I will point out to you this, Robert Sharkovich, he's number 5 under the regarding. That's the firefighter that got killed, and we're getting, everybody's calling us for everything on that.
Really?
There's lawyers, insurance companies,
The good thing is if you
investigators.
redact once and then it's the templates shared, right? So-
Was there?
Yeah, if they ask for the same stuff over and over again, yeah.
Yeah, I don't delete it once I redact it. I
Yeah,
save-
keep that.
I save the file.
It says
Is
all
there any,
records.
is there any body cam footage? And you could possibly have. No, if it- if they can't-
Well, there's no
They don't.
camp footage
No.
of the crash. There's the aftermath.
Yeah.
Typically.
Yeah.
Haven't even got to that one yet.
All right.
We're already getting requests for all the body cam footage from
You
the
know,
Christian Lane crash.
that's a legislature issue that maybe we could bring up to Donna. When they passed the police accountability bill, they didn't consider the cost of small municipalities with respect to body cam. Now, you have an accident like that, you probably have 4 officers and whoever comes in to assist with help. And then 3 hours on scene and all the body cams that need to be
The
redacted.
dash cams.
You know, that's a
It's
cost that
frame by-
we
and it's
in
frame by
Berlin
frame.
shouldn't be forced to pay, that the legislature should be helping us out with. You know?
The CPCA, Connecticut Police Chiefs Association, at their meeting last week, talked about that. Again, our lobbyist, what's the kid's name that's the
Oh, I like
lobbyist?
him, yeah,
He's really aggressive.
yeah.
And,
Hartford one?
Yeah, he's trying to, they're gonna try and push for that with the current legislature coming up to again revisit the whole, we need to be able to charge,
Mhm.
because it's costing us a lot
It died
more.
last year.
Yeah,
And it was,
big
it
deal.
was last year it died.
You could take that money and hire a part-time person, it would
Yeah,
offset, yeah.
I mean, they're not, and if you just say, hey, I can't afford it, we still gotta do it. And a lot of
And but the amount we can charge, like we just.
It's limited.
Still,
it's not close, it's
$30.
yeah.
Yeah. not close to what we need.
All right, okay, so that's it. I'd like to ask for a motion to go into adjournment. Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, good night, everybody.
Merry Christmas, yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. we can-